which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Could we have a roll call of the board?
Randy Bray.
Here.
Tracy Edry.
Here.
Dan Ringo.
Here.
James Tuttle.
Here.
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 Here, we do have a quorum tonight. We can conduct business. Next item is the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support?
We have motion, we have support, discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This time, we'll open the call to the public for any agenda-related items. Anyone wishing to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we will close the first public comment period, and we will move on to the consent agenda. You have the approval of the February 19th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, and the approval of the submitted bills list in the amount of $442,533.99. Any comments, questions, clarifications?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll go into department head reports. Chief?
We've hired so far 3 cadets. We're in the background with the 4th and just had an application for the 5th. So cadets are doing much better than police officers, which, when we hired, was a previous cadet, so doing good on that, but not so much on police officers. We're still struggling to find highly qualified applicants. We get applicants, but we just don't want them. So, other than that,
Business as usual, huh?
business as usual, staying
Okay,
busy.
thank you. Deborah, do we have anything from the planning and zoning?
Yes. The Park at Green Oak, a 225 apartment complex development that was approved 2 years ago, has finally found an investor, and they would like to move forward with building their 225 units on Mount B Road. Nikki Jeffries contacted me, and they should be submitting hopefully soon. So, which will be nice. It's an additional 225 units that we don't have here in the township.
What I can add is when they called the other day, they're doing their final engineering, which means they'll have to submit to CES, and we also explained to Ms. Jeffries that because it's a water line extension, she'll have to submit to LCWA and file for a Act 399 permit. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Tricia, do you have anything for Treasurer's report?
Just that we finished out tax collection on Friday. We were open 9 to 5, so residents could come in for the last day of paying taxes at the local municipal level. We had a 98% summer collection rate and a 96.89 winter collection rate. It went really good, and we are in the process of settlement with the county right now. Warrants are prepared for it, so once they pull my information in, I've been balanced with assessing for pretty much the last month with our numbers, so I know we're good on our side. It's just working with, to make sure everything that the county changed from any changes we did in the system is balanced, and if that works out, I'll hopefully be signing off on settlement by next Monday or Tuesday. And I just want to thank my staff and the township as a whole, especially the last couple weeks with what I had going on. My staff really stepped up and did an amazing job in the last 2 weeks of tax collection, and even close to the due date when I was still not here for a lot of the days. And I want to thank everybody in the other departments that even stepped up and helped, and to all the department heads that came to me and told me what a great job my department did while I was absent. So I think it says a lot about the team I have, as well as the team I work with in the township and all the other different departments. So from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. We are working on the fiscal year-end items, just making sure things that need to be in the system on our end, the treasury side, are in. So when close of fiscal comes, we're all set and ready to go. We are also working on delinquent personal property collection. We actually have done really good with the first and second notices. Third notices are gonna be a little bit more frank, and the next step will be small claims court or going to, lock up certain businesses. I know that sounds really harsh, but we've done our due diligence, spoke to people. And as my responsibility to Township, I need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to collect and fall within the statutory duty of doing that. So my staff and I have been working on that. And other than that, just gonna enjoy a little, I guess you say peace and quiet, and usually don't want to say that on things like this, but it's been.
Change yourself.
Right. It's my first full year in a tax collection and settlement state as treasurer. So I'm really excited how great it's turned out so far. So, and again, thank you, everybody, for the condolences for everything that I went through this last couple weeks. So
They're sincerely
thank you.
condolences to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's it.
Okay, I got one quick one for you, and actually it's from Michael too. I have an email from BSNA asking me to participate in a survey. So I'm assuming we all want to participate.
I already did.
Okay. Was it a good?
I just did.
Never mind. Okay.
My concerns are out there
Okay.
with the cloud that we're on, and just the operating system, not who's operating the system. Our staff's doing a great job navigating around the different challenges that we've had with them being bought out by a new company. But they are very aware of my concerns at every county every treasurer's meeting, and every time I'm on a call with their tech support. So hopefully that'll put some fires under, because the system could be really utilized if they had it set up right on the backside for us.
Well, I think that's the key, because each one of us seem to have a little bit of different problems. And I think each one of us need to take that survey and look at it and, what our problems are, give it to them, so.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you, Trish.
You're welcome.
Michael?
So yesterday I had the pleasure of attending the Michigan Townships Association Capital Conference, which happens every February, or I should say March. On the table, I put a summary of all the public acts that were passed in 2024 and how they may affect the townships. If you have any questions on that, you can get with me at any time and I'll help you out. They also had individual sections on ESTA, the Earned Sick Time Act. They had questions. They also had a really good session on townships' rights on Public Act 233, I believe it is, which is the solar and wind, and how that can affect us, and how the legislature has really kowtowed to the energy industry on this. And it's a big fight. It used to be that they used to have X amount of acres and be able to put in so many kilowatt hours on those acres. So if you had a wind farm, you had to have X amount of acres for this wind farm to be able to accomplish it, or for solar panels, so many. Well, they created a third category, and that was for battery storage, which requires a lot less acreage. And to get any of them approved, I think it's 500 kilowatts, I believe, and that figure's probably wrong, but that's what came to mind. But what they then allowed them to do is, well, we can have 100 kilowatts of wind farm over here, and then make up the rest of it with a battery farm
That's what I heard, yeah.
10 miles away. But they're connected by cables, so therefore they qualify. So they're going to be, the way it is right now, they can cherry pick. They could put a windmill out here in our side lot, another one across the street there, and put batteries over there, and we would have no local control over that whatsoever. this is an unmitigated disaster for any local control, and they're doing everything they can to take any and all local control away. Now, there's agreements that we can enter into, but if we don't like what they say they want to do, it doesn't matter, they're just going to go up to the state anyhow. So it's really, in this area, it's probably not going to happen because we don't have enough open land, except in the southeast corner of the township. They can't put it on state land, so it won't be going into the state parks. But in reality, we don't have much open land. But let's say across the street, south of Winans Lake, they decide they don't want to build a subdivision, they can make a hell of a lot more money just putting up a solar farm there.
The thing about what you and I were talking about earlier today is too, in a solar farm, 15, 20 years when the solar panels have met their lifespan, they have to take the panels down, but they don't have to remove anything under the ground.
Right.
So any of the cabling, the wiring, any of that structure stays.
Can't go back to farmland because of all this in it. So what they're trying to do is get, at least, you have to take everything out that's above the frost line. And that would be a compromise. But they can just go clip, clip, clip right now and walk away. It's the worst possible scenario for us.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to read through this. It's pretty
Yes.
interesting, because when you read through it, my comment is, really? They've got nothing better to do in Lansing than this stuff?
Yeah, and there were other sessions, like say on the ESTA. I will say that everything that we have done for ESTA, and Earned Sick Time Act, everything that we've done for ESTA at this point is compliant with law. Although they have the posters out already, the posters have been revised 3 times already. And they advised us not to actually get the posters till the day before they're due to be put up, which is on the 23rd of March. So we'll be doing that. And then, I'm meeting beat a dead horse, but they also had a full session on what's happening because of Prop 2, and they're adding even more regulatory rules and additional, what's the right way to say it? Things that you have to do because of Prop 2 with electronic ballots, overseas ballots, mailings, who's on what list. And we're going to have to go back to ground zero and redo everything we've already done. It's challenging. There's the right word for it. It's challenging. And I'm happy to share that with any of you who'd like to see that as well. That's it for the clerk's report.
Okay, I'll go into the supervisor's report, and I'll try to keep it brief. Over the last several weeks, the executive board for the Center of Active Adults, made up of representative from Green Oak Township, Lyon Township, City of South Lyon, and the South Lyon School District. We've been busy interviewing candidates for the director's position. The board made an offer to one candidate, and she has accepted the position. So therefore, I am proud to announce that Susan McCoy started as a new director yesterday morning. Susan has a long history with the South Lyon School District. And in that interview process, it was interesting because we found out that she, or at least her brother, went to school and graduated with John Dolan from Lyon Township and myself. So it's a small world. But we're looking forward. She brings a lot of energy and a lot of expertise, so we're looking forward to it. Also, I have been informed that the residents with frontage on Orr Lake in both Green Oak and Hamburg Township have started a petition process for weed control. So that'll be for Orr Lake and also the riverside of, or the Huron River section there along Riverside Drive. And so that's starting. Speaking of SADs, we all know that the Muir Lake SAD was canceled due to the number of residents who requested that their names be removed from the petitions of support. That percentage, once I entered all of those, or removed all of those parcels, dropped down to 28%. So therefore, based on what Eric told me, there's no way to move forward. And It was also Eric's opinion that the best thing to do was cancel the meeting, get notices out, so that's what we did, door to door. Got the notices out. Also, considering the recent activity with SADS, Deborah and I are working on a process and procedures policy that we will be bringing to the board, along with a resident's guide to the process. Deborah and I have found that many communities have policies, procedures, and many require an application fee also. Our goal is to have something for the board to consider at the March 19th, 2025 meeting, so next meeting. And when I say Deborah and I have been working on this, actually, the truth be, I come up with the idea and Deborah does the heavy lifting. So, and I have a pretty good guide here, that we've got a policy and then an application packet for special assessment districts, and at the back of the packet is something that I really think is a great idea. It's an application form, but within that application form, and what we have found many communities are doing, is they're requiring that a two-step process, or we'll call it a two-petition process. The first one is with the application, is they're requiring that anybody requesting, whether it be a single person, a group of people, or a homeowners association, to go out and actually circulate a petition of expression of interest, an EOI. So right up front, you have some rough numbers, quick and dirty numbers, you put it out, they go out and circulate, and if they don't get the 61%, which is a number I put in there, you don't move forward. And that eliminates a lot of the stuff like we've had with this one, we had with High Hill Arbors, numerous times with Oakwood Meadows, and I can go on and on and on. So this, because when you do an SAD, there's a lot of work here. And before it even gets to Trish, there's a lot of work from my staff, then assessing, and then, and to have something, blow up like this one, I think they have to have some skin in the game. So, and there's nothing wrong with us having a policy that's enforced on every SAD. So that'll be coming forward. So with that is the supervisor's report tonight. With that, we'll move on to business items. Resolution, wait a minute, nope. Correspondence. Michael?
All correspondence was distributed to the board members as a result of the Mirror Lake.
Okay, with that, we'll go into the public hearing for the budget, the 2025-2026 budget. What I tried to do with the budget before I open the public hearing is, trying to look at all these pages, and I want to explain a little something about that too. Pages and pages of lines. All total, there's about 82 pages, which after a while, it gets a little confusing. So what I did is tried to pull the general fund, the police, fire, numerous fire funds, building department, into this first sheet that you have, which is a summary of all the departments. Now, if you look, total revenues, I'm estimating general fund of $4,080,306, with expenditures of $4,079,945. Pretty close there. You see the estimated fund balance at the end of this next year, $4,407,021. Fire department, we're looking at revenues of $3,358,297. Expenses of $3,229,868. The 373 fire capital building, let's see, revenues of $976,100, expenses of $533,182. Fund 903, which is your fire capital, revenues of $915,136, expenses of $663,892. 207 police department, revenues of $5,220,000 $27,008. Expenditures, $4,992,962. Building department, revenues of $555,250, and expenses $509,663. So that is, I thought it was easier to try to put it in a summary page like that than going through this. Now, before I open up the public hearing, and I think it'll be short, I've been doing this for 25 years. And after we did our workshops, and I wish I would have had Trish there, but I understand. Trish is a money person, and she understands, and she would have caught the mistake that none of us caught. And I sat there, and the more I worked on it 2 weeks ago, the revenues were not right. They were not right. I knew they weren't right. And the expenditures weren't right. And I spent a lot of time going back and forth, and finally, this new format, I had to go back to our old format. And as I was putting the numbers in, it was like, okay, we all forgot to budget for the 1% administrative fee. Of about $410,000. We just didn't put it in. So that brought the revenue number up to where I thought it should be. So, okay, I'm on the right track. But the expenses were still way off. And then as I was going down, well, we missed the bond payment for the police department. I'll put that in. Then we missed the payment for the principal and interest for the 2020 bond, which was the parking lots and stuff. So when I put that all in, now the numbers all look normal. So I'm comfortable with the budget where it's at. Any questions before I open up the public hearing? Okay, at this time, I will open the public hearing for the 2025-2026 budget. Anyone wishing to address the board at the public hearing? Seeing no response, we will close the public hearing. Okay, let's move on to business item number A, Resolution 04-2025. That's the 2025-2026 budget appropriations. Anybody have any questions about the resolution? Oh, man, I gotta scroll all the way down through this thing?
Yeah.
No, it's better to go this way and then go backwards. I'm scrolling through 82 pages.
So, just to comment, everything that's in this resolution is what you just went over with us on these previous 2 pages, as far as the amounts that are
Yep.
covered in these section 1, or I should say, section,
Section 5 is the
Section
revenues.
5, yes.
And Section 7 is the estimated expenditures. Section 6 is the millages. Now, what you'll see is in the millage, it always says tentative voter authorized millage, because as of right now, I'm using the millage rates from the last L 4029. Once assessing balances after board of review with equalization, we'll have new millage numbers if they change. And if they do change, we will come back with a resolution that'll change it.
not millage numbers, revenues from those millage numbers.
No, the millage rates. If there's a rollback,
Okay,
or
gotcha.
adjustment, we
Gotcha.
have to change that.
Okay,
Yeah, that's why I say these are tentative
Okay.
millage numbers. And this resolution also, as with every year, outlines our roles and responsibilities with respect to the budget and operation finances of the township.
I would go ahead and make the motion to adopt resolution number 04-2025, the 2025-2026 budget appropriations, Green Oak Charter Township, Livingston County, Michigan.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, could we have a roll call, Kelly?
Yes.
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 Yes, resolution is adopted. We have a budget for next year. I will I will try to endeavor to get this to Ryan tomorrow. If not, it will probably be by Monday, so he can input this. And then what I started already is working on any amendments that we have to make to the 2024-2025 budget. So that's my next task. Okay, the next item is building department fee updates. As you can see, you have a memo from Al Hogan, building permit fees. We're using the 2021 construction value table. He'd like to update our version to the 2024 construction value table starting April 1, 2025. Going down, I can't, for the table itself, square footage construction cost, the cost is the cost. Looking at building department fee changes, 2025, the current fee for an application is $30, updating it to $40. To me, these look very reasonable. Inspection fees from $40 to $45. EV charger install, we don't have anything for a permit fee for that. So he's proposing $105 for that permit. Electric fireplace, a lot of people are going to them. There is no fee right now set. He's proposing $45. Mobile home hookups, right now it's $38.75. He's proposing to take that to $45. Prefab fireplaces from $40 to $45. Just some additional notes, inspector pay goes up to $45 per inspection. That is Al's request for the building department. Questions, comments?
I have one.
Yep.
Is the raising of the mobile home inspection fee going to cause an issue with the 9-mile mobile home park through the consent judgment?
Shouldn't, because we are allowed to collect our normal inspection fees for that.
Good enough.
Mark, with the fund balance that the building department has, what does the legislature think townships are going to do with the excess money that accrues in that account?
Well, the auditors say one-time expenses, so we're there.
Yeah.
But not by much. And this, right now, okay, as Deb brought in the park isn't going to start until 2026. You're not going to see permits 2026. More than likely, you're not going to see permits from Legacy until 26 also. So you're not going to see a whole lot. And what you're seeing now is decks, additions, garages, remodels. That's what you're seeing, yes.
You're seeing here.
Yeah. So, I think, even though this year we're projecting that he will put a little bit into fund balance, but it's not great. And one thing that I will note, although it's been a long time, and Al and I will be going to the Livingston County Home Builders meeting, I think it's on the 10th, if I remember right. But in the past, the Livingston County Home Builders Association, their concern is that whatever fees come in from building permits that we have, and they recognize that we need to have a healthy fund balance to cover us through the rainy days, but that the money that's taken in for building fees, permit fees, inspection fees, stays in the building department. And that is an absolute, that's what it does. So that's been their big concern. Answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? And I will note that Deborah was gonna have her fee schedule here, but she pulled that because she got a little work to do on it yet.
Need a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the scheduled building department fee changes for 2025 as submitted.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any comments on the motion? Fee schedule increase. Kelly, could we have a roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, the next item is a Blue Star quote for the old Station 81 demo. This is a test for everybody to see if they read the board packet, and I know Randy. There's a little fat finger in there.
A suggested motion?
Yeah, the suggested motion. I guess the zero is close to the 9, okay.
That's what I figured.
But attached is the updated quote for the demolition of Old Station 81. This is scheduled for the first part of July 2025, and the price with all appropriate alternatives, which Al and I have gone over, is $39,100. Now, as we had talked last year, we would be funding this out of the ARPA funds, so we have those ARPA funds earmarked for this demo. I have the estimate proposal from Blue Star, and they've been notified. They're just waiting for me to sign the agreement and get it back to them. Well, one of the things in the demo, Deborah and I are working with Livingston County Road Commission and also CES, that once the building comes down, then we have to relocate the temporary entrance into the police and fire station. So we're working with CES on relocating that. We actually do have a drawing now that I think both chiefs have seen, but with that, it's a good drawing, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that when they demo the building, the actual asphalt around the front, north side, and what there is in the west side remains, and that would be the entrance to get on hard surface back to the radio tower. So there's no point in us having to build another road if we already have a road there.
Mark, will they leave the flat work that's in the building now, when they knock it down? The concrete that's in the building?
Yep, they
Okay.
knocked that down. But I want to try to keep as much of that parking lot for a hard surface to get to that radio tower.
So they're removing the floor of the fire
Yes,
station?
they're removing
Okay,
all of
okay,
that.
okay.
That was one of the questions they had, because they were concerned whether it had a crawl space or a basement. I said, no, it's a slab, so that's including removing that. So what I'm looking for is, if the board so is, wants to direct the supervisor to sign the estimate quote with Blue Star Inc. for estimate 68135-R in the amount of $39,100.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, is there support?
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support, discussion on the motion? Hearing none, again, Kelly, a roll call?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next item is Resolution 06-2025. Okay, this is a resolution to transfer budgeted funds. Who is taking this one?
I guess I will.
Okay.
Just another housekeeping yearly budgeted transfer resolution for funds. So the treasurer is requesting the accounting department to transfer funds within the general fund from various funds per the budget and anticipated transfers not to exceed the following amounts. You'll see in the resolution, the $15,480 from Centennial Farms, the $4371 from Centennial O&M funds, the $120,000 from sewer O&M fund, and then the $15,000 from the depository account to cemetery. We do this resolution every year and make these transfers, and speaking with Mark, we kept them the same as last year in regards to the numbers. We now, all of our resolutions to transfer funds will be stated by transferring within the general ledger, because we do have the funds pooled into our pooled accounts, our depository accounts right now, so we don't have to do physical transfers of funds. So it'll no longer say that we have to move funds from certain things. It's just going to be an internal general ledger transfer through Mike's department in accounting, so.
The first one there, the $15,480 from Centennial Farms O&M Fund to reimburse the general fund. For those that weren't here back, oh gosh, I want to say 12 years, maybe 15 years ago, when we put in the iron removal system at Centennial Farms. We up-fronted some of the money for the design costs to get that project going and to submit for the drinking water revolving fund. So this is a repayment back of scheduled repayments back to the Green Oak Township, with a little interest in it too, so that's why we word it like that. Any comments, questions?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 06-2025, a resolution to transfer budgeted funds. Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Discussion on the motion or the resolution? Hearing none, Kelly, roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, resolution is adopted. Okay, the next item, I have it on here, is MTA compensation for townships.
Yeah. So at the last meeting, I gave the board some incorrect information, and I didn't find that out until the day after, when I sent the email to MTA to ask them about something else. And it's included in your packet that the board members, if they do nothing at all, the recommendations go into effect April 1st. And to not have them go in, they have to do by specific resolution, reject them. And as I said before, it has to be by a majority, supermajority of the board.
And it has to be within 30 days of the recommendation.
Yes.
So that puts it at this meeting.
Otherwise, it goes into effect.
Yep.
So, you know, kind of laugh about it, and I could have said nothing, but, you know, it's not the right thing to do. As soon as I found out, I went to Mark and I said, this has to go back on the board. The only other comment I have is that we did this back in 2012, and there are 3 members on this board that are still here when we did this. And if you recall right, and you go back through reading, we did this to take this out of the board's hands and put it into the Compensation Commission, who are highly qualified people and who have access to our financials, have access to our audit reports, have access to the incomes and comparisons. And that's all I'm going to go. And it's worked out pretty well. Board didn't object when 4 years ago they made a 1.5% recommendation, even though the inflation rate was dramatically above that. So board can do what they need to do. Obviously, I wanted to present all the information and have all it out there, and also make sure that it went out to the full public. And that was a concern last time, so actually this all worked out well because this went out to the full public, and as we can see, there's a lot of public here.
Well, the thing about it too is we also have a full board here tonight.
Yes.
So that works out in, you know, in favor. And, you know, I have a problem. I said this earlier, and this is nothing personal. You know, at the point that we went to the voters and the voters said no to a 0.21 to take us back to a 1 mil, and basically said, live within your means, learn how to live within your means. You know, the fact that in the new budget, we've taken out large item cleanup, you know, we haven't officially rejected EDC Spark, but I don't think that, for numerous reasons, is gonna happen, but I just have, you know, and I know inflation is 3%. We're told all of our employees, you know, that probably gonna be around 3%, although we have budgeted up to 4, but, I just have some heartburn with it, and that's why I voted the way I did at the last meeting. And again, nothing personal, but I just have some heartburn with it.
Are we
Board
open
members?
for discussion?
Yeah.
I left the meeting last time. Tracy, I completely saw your point, okay? Completely saw your point. But I went back, and I've been thinking about this for a while, and when I got the other notice that came to me in the email, it opened up my eyes again, too. My raise, presumably, is no big deal. I'm willing, to be honest with you, I'm willing to give that up. I would donate the money to Tower of, whatever, Tunnel of Towers, excuse me.
You can, under MTA rules, not take it.
Okay, if that was the case, but I spend a lot of time around here, especially during the summer when I'm not working, and even after school, I come over here often. And I see people working, and I see what's been happening in the last year since Tricia's been here, and I know what you've been going through with elections, and I know what Mark goes through all the time. And when it came to the point that they won't get a raise for 2 years, I have a real problem with that. And so those are my feelings on it. I know our full-time people over here work hard, and they would be compensated a lot more in the general public, in general business than they are in the township. So that's my opinion on it.
And I think I said it at the last board meeting, and the one thing that I really commend this board, I think there's a sense of pride that, again, at the end of the day, when we have difficult things in front of us, each and every board member should vote their conscience, vote what's in their heart, and nothing is personal. And we do that on every single issue. So however the board wishes to vote on this tonight, or it's fine. There's nothing personal. And again, a person votes yes, votes no. By God, that's democracy, and that's the way it should be.
And I appreciate, I watched the meeting, and I appreciate everybody's comments, and Dan, your comment just now too, and I mean, in 100% agreement, I mean, this job, from any job that either I've seen or other elected officials have done, it is probably one of the most demanding, but still well-run, but very demanding, and a lot of hats and a lot of things on our plate. So I just want to say, definitely thank you for, recognizing that, and that's really all I have to say.
Okay. Board members.
I can say that my opinion has not changed. I completely agree. You guys work very hard. We all work very hard, either whether this job or my job outside. Times are tough, and I do not believe you take from the residents and then benefit yourself. It just doesn't sit well with me.
James?
Yeah, I had a similar hard time as Dan with, as a trustee, this isn't my source of income. Right. I would just as soon, not see that increase, especially after the millage. And I do see, I mean, if we wanted to get into it, it looks like we could kind of piecemeal these recommendations. Is that correct?
No,
it's
you cannot
wholesale.
piecemeal. You have to, the only way you could piecemeal it is if you reject a particular, let's say that you make a motion to reject the trustees, or you make a motion to reject the supervisor or individual, and then that would then not go through, the others would. So you can't make adjustments in the amounts. You either have to accept them or reject them. The only leverage you have, the only way you can do it is to reject them on an individual basis. But no action at all no motion or no resolution at all, it moves forward April 1st. Because that's what we agreed to do 13 years ago when we put the Compensation Commission in place.
Yeah,
Randall?
I agree with Jim on this one. It is difficult, and it is difficult with the board, with the trustees versus the full-time people. And it's one I put a lot of thought into as well. But I do have the same heartache of seeing the millage was voted down. The taxpayers did not want to have any more taxes. And then I have some heartache of saying, now we're going to give raises out during this time, because this is a rough time. And it's a difficult decision.
Okay, well, we've all had our say. Anybody else have anything else they wish to say? So,
Well, all I can say is, I understand everybody's position, and it's my own personal one. Please don't, we always get along over here, and I just,
and no matter how this goes, my hope is that is maintained. I think it will. We've always been able to keep that decor, work together, and again, like I've said, it's nothing personal, it's business. So as I understand it, Michael, if there's no motion to adopt this resolution, it goes into effect.
Correct.
Okay, then I will ask, what's the wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 03-2025, resolution to reject Compensation Commission recommendations for elected officials.
Is there support? At this time, I do not hear any support. Resolution dies. Okay, with that. So, Michael, ask you a question. If I want to reject mine, do I reject it now or do I reject it at another time?
You can submit a email to the board saying that you wish not to receive and that money can be reapplied to the budget.
Okay.
Any of you can.
Yep. All right. Moving on to discussion items. Are there any discussion item needed?
No, I went over the capital conference already. That, more to come on, especially on Public Act 233.
Okay, committee reports. Any committee reports?
I just say, Chief's not here, but I've been in the line of emails going along regarding the correction of the heating and cooling system over at the fire station. And they're waiting for some parts, and it seems like, I was over there last week and talked with the chief at length about it, and our costs are minimal on the correction.
I had a conversation with Deputy Chief today, and he went over with me what they proposed and what they actually have to do. And one of them was they came in to put manual dampers in those legs, and he said, get out of here. He rejected. We are not going to go around and manually adjust these dampers
No way.
to make this thing work. Go back, engineer, and as he explained to me, it was between the architects and the engineers, get this thing right. We're not paying another dime for it.
The architects are biting a big bullet.
Yeah, I will add one thing, and I should have added it to the budget discussion. Working with Ryan on the budget amendments, I've got some work to do with Ryan and also with John Pfeffer, because we have a little bit of a difference of opinions on budget amendments. Ryan is of the position that if your fund has a fund balance, it doesn't matter if you run expenditures exceed revenues because you have a fund balance, so therefore you have not exceeded your budget. Well, that is defying the last 25 years of what I've been told from our auditors. So I've got to get this cleared up. And then the one thing that I do have to work with Ryan, let me back that up. So he says, you know, as long as you got a fund balance, let's say the supervisor or planning and zoning or whatever one exceeds its budget, doesn't matter because you got a fund balance at the bottom of the general fund. Now, that, to me, that doesn't make any sense. But then he says, you know, I'd like to see every fund have $50,000 in it so it doesn't run out of budget. I said, wait a minute. Now, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'm working through these things, and the one I've got to work on, I talked to Trish about tonight, is we're gonna have to probably have a resolution. I'm gonna have to pump some money into a Reich's common septic, because we've got a lot of work to do on that. But that will also be recouped from whatever either SAD or Rise in their prices, their quarterly fees that get charged. So we got a little work to do on that. And then Chief Gentry, as you know, last time he was here and told us about all the wonderful news in the fire department, based on his projections, he'll have $36 to the good at the end of the year. That's cutting it a tad bit close. Wow. Now, even though he has a fund balance, according to Ryan, I don't have to do anything about it, but no, I don't work that way. So I'm gonna submit fund, or balance or budget adjustments, so just a heads up.
The best thing I can say about this is, with Mike bringing in, the accounting, firm and Ryan, that, now it's his department that can handle when you want money from that budget.
You
I
got
don't
it.
have to do the transfers anymore, so that, I'm gonna just,
Wow,
just messing with you. I'm still working.
I just feel a dump truck just
No.
exited in my office.
I mean, honestly, it's
It's
been-
gonna be so much easier.
Because we're
So
still
much
working
easier.
together well, but at the same time, it's more falling into, the accounting side of things than really it's kind of segregation of duty and making sure that, I'm checking the money in the bank, they're doing the internal, general ledger, and that's why I did not become an accountant, because I don't like to work with the general ledger unless it's my own budget.
Well, the other part of this too, and again, I could have done this all under the budget discussion, it's just everything is changing. You know, accounting practices and municipal accounting practices are changing, so again, we're all gonna get on that same page, but it's difficult after you've been doing it for so long. That, you know, this is the way it's been done, this has worked every year, so
Yep.
we're working on it. All right, any other committee reports?
Another.
Okay, moving on to executive session. There is none needed tonight, so we'll open the last call to the public. Seeing no response from the call, we'll close the call to the public, and at this time, we stand adjourned.